cold. Let's put a bit of hot air on it. Catch inside.
RevelatorAlf.
Hello, welcome to RevelatorAlf. Hope you're enjoying the channel and the series of videos. Please like, share, subscribe, leave loads of comments below. Check out the website RevelatorAlf.com and the links in the description too. So in this video I'm talking about Harley Davidson's, the Softails, the Sport Glide, which I've got. But actually I'm just talking in general terms about the Milwaukee 8 engines. And ever since they were introduced, there's been a lot of hot air blown over a cold subject, really. What am I talking about? I'm talking about possibly the myths and the scaremongering about the Milwaukee 8 engines. Now, when they were first introduced in the Tourer range in early 2017, there were a few instances of some issues with the Milwaukee 8 engines. There were early batch issues, there were fit and finish issues, that kind of thing. But actually this is nothing new when you're launching a new engine or a new product to the market. It has to be field tested, and there are always going to be issues that just weren't even considered. There were problems with the oil pumps when riders were upstaging their engines as well, especially up to 3 and 4. That was well documented, but all those issues have been largely resolved. Lots of people were very dismissive about the M8 engines because really it was moving away from the old engines, the twin cams, which a lot of people loved, and especially coming off that Dyna platform with the Softails onto this new Softail chassis, lots of people just weren't happy about it. Lots of people fear change because it's just change. Now, if you look on the internet, the World Wide Web is an amazing resource, but it's also a place where things can fester, and something that's very small can spread like wildfire. And you know, I'm in the business here, let's say, of providing you guys with information on YouTube and across social media as well, and on the website. But there's lots of people out there who will take one incident and blow it up out of proportion. Now, it could be a very personal incident. Now, they may have had an issue on their particular bike, on their particular M8, and they're going to shout to the rooftops about it. Quite rightly so. But that doesn't necessarily mean there's a problem with every single bike or every single M8 engine. Isolated cases are not the norm. Now, let me talk about my Sport Glide with the 107 cubic inch engine. It's been absolutely faultless ever since I've had it. I've put it through its paces. I've done urban riding, countryside riding, backroads riding, long distance riding, endurance riding. Never missed a beat. Been absolutely fantastic. And I've got to say, it's probably one of the best, if not the best, Harley Davidson engine that I have ever known. That's not to say it is the best, this is just a personal opinion. The thing now is that lots of people would agree with me. And what is really important for everybody to understand is that this M8 engine is attracting non-Harley riders to the Harley Davidson brand. Why? Because it's a lot smoother than other engines in the past. It's just a better engine all round. It produces stock more power, arguably, and it's just a better platform. Coupled with, on the Softails, with this chassis, that's why you're getting non-Harley riders ditching their sports bikes, ditching their adventure bikes, and coming over to this. Guess what? That's where I came from too. Now, of course, whenever there's a new engine here, there's a lot of field testing to be done. There are a lot of issues that do come up with a new engine, especially within the first year and a half. There is a good argument to never buy a brand new bike when it's first launched. Wait for a year and a half, 2 years, until all the little niggles have been ironed out, all the creases have been ironed out, I should say, and then you just jump in with both feet and you'll have a damn good engine there. But with this 107, with the 114 and the 117 engines, There were some early issues, as I say, but most of those have been resolved. There were some individual cases, and there continue to be some individual cases, but you know, on the whole, no issues. There have been some issues of the timing gear that has had some issues with the fit. There have been issues with the compensator as well on the other side there, on the primary side. That has disintegrated, but actually a lot of that was left over from the twin cam days. A lot of that was it just wasn't torqued down properly. There have been a couple of isolated instances on the M8 engine, but for every isolated case of an issue with the M8 engine, you'll get a whole host of people saying, no, I've never had a problem with my bike at all. There'll be lots of people out there who would try and make a case for the M8 engine out of one particular issue and say it's a bad engine. It just isn't the case. Now, I'm not being dismissive here of anybody who has had a problem with their Harley Davidson and with their M8 engine. I've got a lot of sympathy for those guys. I've got a lot of sympathy for anybody who's had a problem with their bike, no matter what it is, because that is a real pain. And I suppose with the M8 engines now, because they are evolving, or Harley Davidson has run, they are evolving, there's a little bit more modern equipment, modern tech on there as well. They are moving away from what people knew into the unknown. In fact, a lot of these new engines, the new motorcycles, the M8 engines, have alienated a lot of older Harley Davidson riders. They actually don't like this movement into the new world, and actually they don't like the prices either. There's something to be said about that. Now, on this channel, I do talk about a lot of the problems with the Harley Davidson Softails, the Sport Glide, individual issues that have been raised. But by no means does that mean there is a general malaise across the range. Actually, these are usually just isolated cases, or there's something that you may need to be wary of if you have a bike that has not been fixed or has not been adjusted in some way. But as for the engine, for me, it's absolutely great. But I can talk until I'm blue in the face about this M8 engine and how great it is, how smooth it is, how appealing it is to non-Harley riders specifically, and also existing Harley riders who have come over to this engine and who absolutely love it. We can all shout at the rooftops how great it is. But really, the proof is in the pudding, as we would say. But go and try it, see what you think, and you'll be pleasantly surprised. And it'll be a smooth ride, and it'll be largely very reliable too. You won't have the problems with this engine as you did with previous engines, and people are putting big mileage on them now, and there isn't an issue. Now we're in sort of year 3 now of the M8 engine. You would imagine at some point there will be other issues developing with old engines and high mileage engines. But actually, that's no different from any other bike out there. That's nothing to be scared of. That's just general engineering. That happens to all engines, all manufacturers. Aging engines and high mileage engines will always have wear and tear. That's not a fault. That's just wear and tear, as I say. That's nothing to say that the M8 engines won't suffer the same issues, but up until that point, they will be more than reliable. Anyway, so I wanted to bring this video, as I say, because there is lots of scaremongering, or there has been lots of scaremongering about the M8 engine, and possibly it might have put you off from getting one. Well, all I can say is I'm riding mine every day, all throughout the year, never skips a beat, on all sorts of roads, all sorts of surfaces. I love it, and I think the bike loves it too. Well, I hope you found that useful. Let me know in the comments what you think, if you've had any problems with your M8 engines or not. What kind of mileage did you have the problems, and what kind of mileage have you done and not had any problems? That's interesting as well. Anyway, please like, share, subscribe, leave those comments below, check out the website at RevelatorAlf.com, and I'll catch you on the next video coming very soon. Ta-da now.
RevelatorAlf.